no challenge too high. In unity, the dreams of all that can't. But we're the ones who can change it. The smiles make us courageous. With hands held tight, a future we can dare. We'll be the voice that never breaks in every heart, a light of hope. Together we'll create the dreams of all that can. Save the children, make it right, for that tomorrow we'll stand and fight. We'll every step we're stronger, no challenge too high. In unity we rise above, with love that reaches the sky. Our song will echo through the night, for every child who needs our light. In every smile we see the path to a brighter day.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to AI That Works. We are already on day 4 of our 5-day challenge. Flying by. I hope everyone is feeling all the momentum. How is everyone doing today? Are we fired up? I love that I see a whole bunch of people on video. Thank you for being on video. As we said yesterday, it makes a huge difference to us if you can be on video so we can see how things are landing. This is for our VIP room. That's the group I can see in front of me. So it is great to see all of you. What we have today is going to be how you customize AI. And this is the thing that's going to feel like this is a super advanced skill. Like only people who are really, really into AI have their own like customized AI that knows who they are and speaks just to them. That feels like, I don't know, like that feels like the future, right? But it's now, and it's today. It is day 4 of the challenge. So before I turn it over to Peter to talk about that, first let me hear from Jade. Jade, give me a quick update on how after party went yesterday and what you guys covered, and help people get a sense of what some of the business things you're talking about are.
Let me, one moment. Great. Yeah. So, yesterday exact same thing. We took all the learnings that we took from the day, but not only from day 3, but in general, all the learnings that we had from day 1, day 2, and day 3 as like an open space to go through and really share about how everybody else was using AI. And for example, day 1, we really dove into everything about music, and day 2, we really started to dive into like actual practical things that people could take away and learn with using ChatGPT and all of those fun things. And truly, like, the conversations that we've been having have been sparking so many different ideas for everybody. I can just, having cameras on and seeing everyone's faces, I can just see so many ideas popping up in people's heads. I mean, even like a lot of people gave me some good ideas, and I was like, I need to go work. Like, I have some things to do now. And I honestly love the VIP sessions with you guys and spending that time with you guys, because I mean, I just love the shares and helping you guys grow, and it's just awesome in there. And if you're not in there, get in there, because it's pretty damn cool.
And I mean, this is an awkward transition, but Peter, we have an announcement about today's after party. Do you want to make our announcement, Peter?
We do. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, depending where you are in the world. Thank you for being here. I'm going to do house rules because we're making up for day 1 and 2. House rules, number 1. If you're in the Zoom, please turn your video on. It really helps us with our energy, but more importantly, it helps us see what's landing for you and what's not landing for you. Number 2, as Gretchen just said, drink water. I did them in a different order, apparently, just to keep everyone on their toes. Drink water. It's good for you unless you're drowning, and AI can't do that for you yet. Number 3, and I think is it the most important? No, each of these are as important. Number 3, knowledge is not power. That is an untrue, false phrase. Knowledge is power. I have all the knowledge in the world. I can read any book I want. I know. I could teach a class on micros, macros, protein, carbs, and fat counts. I could teach a nutrition class. Some of you have met me in person. Apparently, I haven't internalized that knowledge. That was Rick's face just then. He's like, yeah, no, you haven't quite got there yet. Knowledge is not power. Execution is power. Execution is power. And even bad execution is better than no execution. But the benefits of sessions like this, like for all of you that have been here, like this is free. Like this is free. And a lot of you don't know the numbers behind this, but people pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars to give them the insights that we've been giving you. I'm not saying that it's not hyperbolic. It's literally, that's what happens. The job offers I get at the moment in AI, and my team are the same, are crazy insane. Crazy insane. And yet you're getting it free. And one of the dangers if you get something for free is you tend not to value it at the degree it should be valued. John said this almost on day one. You got to pay for it in order to value it. And our hope is that you can take the value away from this, but actually execute on it. And our advice here, and on the advice of the mastermind, which what I'm about to get to, is exactly that. Of every day, just as you're listening to these things, go, how does this apply to my life? Where can I use this? And often your answer will be, I don't know. And that's okay. Our advice is 20 minutes a day. Just 20 minutes a day using AI as the number that we found gets people to the point where they get their eureka moment, where they get their, oh, I can use it here, or I can use it there, which is why we put Jade's VIP and Business Accelerator in, because it helps people get to that point quicker of going, oh, this is where I can use it in my life, or this is where I can use it in my business, and this is where it's going to make a difference. So rule one is actually the water rule. Drink water. It's good for you unless you're drowning. Rule two is turn your videos on so it can help us help you. And rule three is spend the time after these sessions going, where can I use this? Now, speaking of the mastermind, sad face, little crying face from everybody, cry. You don't get an hour with Jade today. Don't get that today. In our VIP. I know. It's because I've got an ego problem. It's like a jealousy thing. They're like, Jade is the best. I'm like, then let's cut her out of the mix. No, it's not that at all. What it is, oh, you found it. I wanted to find it, Gretchen, but I was talking. Kelly found it as well. I'm like, oh, sad faces.
Kelly did too.
Kelly did too. Is everybody in the VIP room today gets access to our mastermind. So everybody in the VIP room, we'd like to gift you access to our mastermind for the day so you can come and experience our flagship. This is the thing that we do, the thing we're known for. And we're going to be doing some super cool stuff over there. It will feel like a little bit of a baptism of fire for some of you, because we're going to go from training wheels mode to full acceleration mode. But we are going to make sure, because we've got some super cool stuff to discuss over there. So everybody in the VIP, if that's okay with you, hopefully it's an upgrade. Hopefully I am still an upgrade from Jade. I'm not sure, but hopefully I am. You're going to come into the mastermind with us today, see what we do in the mastermind, get an experience of that, because we love you all. I don't think Gary thinks it's an upgrade, which is, if anyone wants to take him out of the room, that's fine. No, don't, team. I was joking. I just realized somebody actually might do that. Like, no, stop. Do not throw Gary out. No. So that's what we're doing today.
I love it.
We'll do some prizey stuff.
I was about to say, I also have to do prizey stuff. Yes. So I, again, get to pick today's prize. And I think I'm a little biased, but I went with Becky 𝐓𝐿. And she, if anyone was looking at Facebook, is the one who had her fashion colors done, something she's been studying for months and trying to figure out how she could hack. And then it got totally spelled out for her by AI. I loved that choice of discuss any personal business problem you're having. And I love that it was get this fashion hack that's been driving me crazy. Get it right. I thought that was awesome. Totally new, totally original. I haven't seen that ever before. And that's always for me a delight. So Becky, we will be in touch with you. Awesome work. So good to have you contributing and playing along. And we will be sending you a Spark Hydrate. So cool water bottle that, yeah, I envy. And also we'll be giving another one of those tomorrow for whoever's doing amazing on the homework and all that. But tomorrow we have a grand prize. And I actually think I should tell you what the grand prize. Peter, am I allowed to say what the grand prize is today?
think you're the co-host. That means you can do whatever you want to do.
You really can't
And
stop me.
actually,
I
think
get
it's a
that.
great idea. Has
So
anyone
tomorrow
ever
we'll give,
stopped you doing anything you want to do, Gretch?
yeah, it's basically true. So tomorrow we'll give out another daily prize on Friday for, a great contribution, a great fun work assignment. But we do like to have a grand prize. It can be a previous winner. That's always fun. It can be someone new. Everyone is in play for this. And what we want to do is you are going to get an actual one-on-one consulting session with Peter. So whoever this is just like, as Peter said, people spend thousands of dollars to get Peter's advice on marketing and business acceleration. So this is your chance to actually get in there and get some one-on-one time with Peter. And this is a huge, huge gift. So we are super excited to award that tomorrow. So everyone be ready. And like I said, this whole energy in the Facebook thing, it's awesome. We appreciate the way everyone plays. So with that, I'm going to do one other early announcement, which is that because the mastermind comes directly after this challenge today, we will end 10 minutes early and we will be on time. So just giving everyone a heads up, there'll be a 10-minute break. That lets us reset, go catch our team, make sure the tech is set up, and get on the next big call that everyone's expecting us on every Thursday at noon Eastern. That is when our mastermind is every week, and we never miss it. So we'll be off here at 10 minutes till. But yeah, because of that, let's get going, Peter.
Okay, let's do it. Before we talk into custom instructions, memory, how to customize this thing and make it your own, the first thing I want to talk about is like I had this not a realization, but the concern and the fear of what I do in AI came very, very real yesterday. So I'm at a very, very high level networking event. I do this every quarter. There's like 100 people in the room. Minimum revenue is $1 million a year. I think the most wealthy guy in the room is probably a 9-figure guy, self-made. Right? So this is a very, very senior room of very smart people. And someone did a talk on AI, and I kind of I took over. That would be the truth of it. I took over. I'm like, no, get out, move away, get off the stage. Like, what are you doing? And I asked people in the room, how many people have an AI strategy in place inside their company? A real simple question. How many of you at a C-suite level have instructed your company, whether you're a solopreneur or a 3-person company or a 10,000-person company, to get on board with this? Gretchen, you want to have a guess percentage-wise?
Let's go with 40%.
Gary was a lot closer with 0. It was 4.
I was only off by 10x.
4. And you're looking around this room going, do you not see what is about to happen and what is already happening? And the reason I wanted to bring this to everybody today, and again, I use the words revenue and impact interchangeable because I'm very, very hopeful whatever revenue you're making is going to some form of impact. And if you're just an impact person, then hats off to you as well. But like whether you're revenue or an impact person, I'm curious actually, revenue or impact, like an R or an I on the chat, like revenue or impact, like revenue or impact, or both if you want, revenue or impact. There isn't an option where you stay the same, or you get a 10% growth or a 10% reduction in revenue. That option is not on the table for you. And it doesn't matter how many times. Nicholas Taleb wrote a great book on this, which was called The Black Swan. And the black swan is very, very rare in nature that you see a black swan. But his point was, if you see enough swans, eventually the black swan is inevitable. Right? So another guy time I saw this was the chief security officer of Twitter was outlining their security protocols on a stage when this or this happens, And somebody stood up to be sarcastic and said, that sounds like a 1 in a million event. And the CSO, the chief security officer of Twitter, said, yes, in our world, that's once every 10 times every second. So, Like a 1 in a million becomes it happens 10 times a second. I don't want to get political with this, but COVID was inevitable. COVID specifically was not inevitable, but a market shifting, game changing event was inevitable. Before that, it was the real estate crisis in 2008. About every 8 to 10 years, our markets go through a black swan, inevitable, couldn't have been forecasted event. Something is going to change the way the world works. The reason that this is either we go all the way up into ridiculous abundance, like each of your businesses go like, whoom, or you go into fading into obscurity, is that the game has changed. It's not that the game has evolved. It's not that things are slightly different. It's that the game has changed. I will give you a stupid example of this. We are around 3 years away from self-driving cars being a de facto standard in California. Now, this is not my figures. This is Morgan Stanley's figures. It is a safer mechanism in order to drive. Less people get hurt. We don't like that, by the way. Our brains don't want that to be true, but that's the truth. So here's a question for you. What's going to happen to your business if your business is producing street signs? What's going to happen to your business if you make street signs in a world where we're about to go self-driving? If we're self-driving, you don't need a street sign. You don't need a thing that says this is highway thing and this is I-95 and the speed limit is 70 kilometers an hour. So an industry like a street sign, which you would think, or I would think, is like, that's safe. That's safe from all this technological revolution, is suddenly at play. And every single thing that we're all doing is at play. Like take Chloe's business. Chloe's trains actors and actresses as well as being one herself in Inner Circle. Love you, Chloe. Thank you for being here. Well, the SAG-AFTRA went on strike for a year because they're like, hang on a second, you can now replicate everything actors and actresses do in AI? Like the entire business of Hollywood is having to rethink how it tells a story. Is telling a story still something that humanity wants? Of course it is, absolutely. But the mechanisms that we're used to doing it is going to massively change. We taught all of you on day 2 how to write a course, and some of you, and I wouldn't suggest this, by the way, said, well, I could write courses on things I don't know. Yeah, be careful, because the AI output is intoxicating the average if you don't know what you're looking for. So using it to write a course on the thing you do know, fantastic, because you can sense check it. You can say, no, that doesn't quite work. That does quite work. But I wouldn't certainly suggest you start monetizing things you don't understand. Because if you don't understand it, you can't check the output. But think about what that is. If we can teach you in 1 hour to write a course using a piece of software that's $20, what happens to Coursera and EdTech and everything else? And I can tell you the answer. When ChatGPT was released, Coursera went down 40% in its stock price. 40%. As everybody went, hang on a second, that business model, the entire game that this people are playing is maybe not valid anymore. So here are the 2 choices. And this is the bit I don't like saying, but it's just the truth. Choice 1, don't change and fail. You're done. Whatever it is that you were hoping to achieve is finished in the next 2 to 3 years. Choice 2, change and get ridiculous levels of abundance and success. More than you ever thought possible. And that is, and I was talking to my team this morning, I find that personally absolutely terrifying. I'm not going to tell you that I'm like, yeah, this is all great. No, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying, but it's also super exciting at the same time. Because we get to relook at those customers and the avatars and who we're trying to reach and actually reach them. Okay, so change. Change is good. Change is opportunity. Change is super scary, and it's all good. We got you. Between us all, we'll get through this. And with that said, let's talk about how we can do that. Gretchen, where do you want to go first? Memory or custom instructions?
I I think we should do memory second, even though I think it's really, really important. I think custom instructions are the first leveling up we should do. Let's do custom instructions.
Okay. Everybody, if we can, let's change the energy. Can we get some reactions?
100%. Trust me, everyone is ready for custom instructions. It is crazy important.
Casey wasn't. That's good. Now Casey's right. Okay. Custom instructions to this. She was busy having it. I don't actually, Casey, you're right. Coffee is important as well. Cheers. Okay. Custom instructions. So what are custom instructions? Custom instructions are something that sits between you and the AI output, making this custom instructions. There are two sections in the custom instructions, one of which is how do you want it to act, and second is how do you want it to respond. I will show you quickly what that looks like. So when you come into ChatGPT, come into here, and you click on the little avatar. That's either going to be your face, or we're using a team account here, and I have different instructions for both. You're going to click on it, and you're going to hit Customize ChatGPT. So come into a normal screen, hit this, and hit Customize ChatGPT. And you're going to see two sections. Section one, as I said, is what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? Column number two is how would you like ChatGPT to respond? So I'll walk you through mine, and then I want to show you how to create these yourself. So mine is, you should refer to yourself as Jet. A few of you know the reason my ChatGPT is called Jet. I was just talking about this through Doug and Rich this morning, is because that was my first crush when I was a teenager. She was a gladiator. I thought she was really sexy. And for some reason, that name has locked in my brain. I actually recommend that as a tactic for everybody. Your first crush is the way to go. Unless it was like your wife's sister when you're like, and you dated her first, that's probably not a good way to go. But like your first celebrity crush, right? That would be where I'm trying to point you. Your first celebrity crush. So for Michael, it would be David, because I still think he's in love with David Hasselhoff. Okay. So basically, it's a safe bet with anyone that's German for some weird reason. David Hasselhoff and the Germans love each other. Right. So you should refer to yourself as Jet. And like, this is where we name it. You should address me as, in my case, Pete. I wouldn't copy that. I would put your own name in there. This is mine. Important. Managing my state is your core outcome. And I put this in almost last because it wasn't doing it and I wanted to. Next, I often use voice commands, voice to voice, as we showed you, or voice mode. I find analogies and metaphors helpful for learning. I prefer summaries first, but I might ask for a detailed breakdown. I have a preference for learning about frameworks and models that I can apply from others. I'm the CEO of RAI. These are the work projects that we do. And as I spoke into a couple of days ago, I forget to delegate. I have an amazing team to support me. Please ensure that you help me with this through consistent questioning. I often speak in terms of task, not outcome, when briefing others. Help me with this as well. This is the first section, and I'm going to put that in our back channel right now so that people can disseminate that wherever they want to disseminate it. And then the second section is how would you like ChatGPT to respond? And that is, for me, always use high energy motivational language to keep me pumped. Don't hold back on enthusiasm, especially in giving feedback or encouragement. When providing encouragement or setting the stage for my day, don't just stop at motivation, crank it up, end on a high note. I want to feel like I'm about to storm the gates, not just attend a meeting. And then I have utilized the comedic timing of John Cleese. Please clarify and verify with me when you have queries. I value feedback and critique to help me see what I might be missing. I do not always want you to agree with me. This isn't strong enough yet. I'm working on that. And I don't want or need false praise. Use an informal tone, but be clear when explaining concepts. Start explanations briefly with the option to expand. It's another one that's a work in progress. If you're aware of an expert in a subject we're discussing, you should ask me if we want them to bring them in. And you should offer visual aids where relevant, but always ask first, given my frequent use of voice commands. So if I turn this off for a second, I will feel like I'm naked in a crowd, but let's have a go. And if I type hi there, I need to work out how to solve a retention issue in a partner business. You're going to get a very dry outcome. Right? I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it's quite dry. To address a retention issue in a partner business, it's important to take a systematic approach. Here's a few things you can do. Blah, 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 blah. I want to leave this going until it gets to the end so we can see what it does. I mean, this is good. Identify problems, analyze root causes, develop strategies, implement. Great. Yeah, I mean, all this is great. Blah. Would you like to delve deeper into any of these steps? So that's what happens without my instructions. If I now come into here and turn my instructions back on, I felt heart palpitations when I did that. That's quite crazy. And I now put the same prompt. Let's look at the difference here. Hey, Pete, let's dive into this issue like a rugby match. We're determined to win. Let's tackle it from all angles. And you'll see we're now getting quicker lists. And it's referred to it as a game plan. So let's look at these two over here. To address a retention issue in a partner business, it's important to take a systematic approach. That word is so alien to me, I can't even say it. Now we come back over here and we've got, let's dive into this like it's a rugby match. We're determined to tackle it from all angles and figure out what's driving people and create a game plan. Now for interest, custom instructions are different per account. So this is my personal account. My personal account is slightly different. In my personal account, you will see some added instructions. You will see what my disc is, which is a personality profile. So basically that says, I want to make quick decisions and I care about people and everything else can go to help. It's got instructions as to who my son is, who my daughter is, who my wife is, my weight challenges. Oh, 295, thank you very much. Yay. Work Rise, I run two businesses. So this is referring into the board seats I have, not just ROI, because this is my account, not the ROI account. It still has the instructions about forgetting to dedicate. But in here, you'll now start seeing stuff like this. Don't hold back the enthusiasm and swears, especially when providing encouragement, setting the stage for my day. Don't just stop at motivation. Crank that shit up a notch. End on a high note. Throw in a let's fucking go or something similar to cap it off. I want to feel like I'm storming the gates. Okay, so if we now take the same set of instructions with those few additions, see what output we get now. And this is my preferred instructions, by the way. Out of this one and my ROI ones are sanitized for when I forget and I go on stage. And it literally starts effing and blinding like a sailor. You're going to see a whole different set in here. Now you're going to see stuff like keep your partners engaged and supported. Let's fucking go. It's going to have quick wins because that's something I've told it I want. You're going to see a very, very different detailed answer. Okay. So learnings, custom instructions are awesome. Number one, they're going to give you a much richer, deeper output. They are subtle differences, but they are different. And when you're using this for 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, it makes a world of difference when you have something that you actually want to work with. And when you get to voice, it makes a huge difference. I was wondering why a lot of people weren't doing voice from when we were teaching it at the beginning. And it's because they hadn't joined the session where we had done custom instructions a few before. If you don't have custom instructions set, voice is a very staid output. So if you thought you were impressed already in the last couple of days as you've used voice, you haven't seen anything yet. Custom instructions is going to give you a richer, deeper, more personal output. And yours will look different to mine. So this is how I suggest you put these together. I suggest you come into, guess what? Drumroll, ChatGPT, and you say, I want to write some custom instructions for ChatGPT. And then I suggest you give it one of the earlier ones I've got and say, da, 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 da. And then you would say something like, here is a sample from someone I was listening to. He's amazing. I mean, you can tell that he's amazing or not, that's up to you. Let's follow this template. Ask me all the questions you need to ask in order to work out what my version should be. And it's going to sit and say, okay, and it's going to start asking you those questions. So you can now just literally go through and answer these and say, actually, I don't like analogies. I like this. And I want to give you something more specific. So literally all you're going to do is, without the custom instructions set, say, I want to write some custom instructions, ask me questions in order to formulate them and then output them. And then when you've got them, you're going to click the face, click customize, and copy and paste them in here. But let's go back to that earlier thing here and say, in here, let's say, this was great, but I told you that I want your help to learn and improve in delegation. There is no feedback about delegation here. What would I need to include in my custom instructions in order for you to remember that I want you to always, always, always look for opportunities to delegate and find leverage. So, awesome. So, A, it's gone and done the work on this one, which is super cool. I didn't ask for that. That's amazing. But that isn't what we were after. What we were after was this: delegation and leverage focus in my custom instructions. So I now go back to my custom instructions. And in how do you like ChatGPT to respond? And add that in. Always prompt to delegate tasks. Which one can I get rid of? Actually, I can show you how to do that in a second.
It's got, you're under the limit already.
Go me. Save. Okay, and we're going to take exactly the same instructions again. Open a new chat and see how successful we are. Didn't work yet. Finagle time. So I'm not going to use the rest of the course of this. We've only got 10 more minutes. But I would literally just go back and say, I just added this to my custom instructions. You haven't yet listened. Next step, delegate tasks. It's getting there. Wait, and let's fucking go in bold. Okay, good. We're getting there. Okay, got this.
Peter, can I add a couple things?
Yes, of course.
Okay, because I know we're switching to memory, but I want to make sure. What you guys saw with him adding, like saying like, okay, this isn't working and I want to change it. Remember, Peter has the most highly trained custom instructions of literally anyone you will ever meet. So if he is already still kind of toying with it and tweaking it, when you build your first set of custom instructions, you are likely to get a bunch of it wrong. And my experience was that I thought it would be funny in our first set of custom instructions to put in that I like British humor and like that dry sarcastic, that would be fun to have in as a dynamic. And then ChatGPT put like a joke, like a bad joke about scones or tea in every reply it gave me. And 2 days later, I was like, I hate it. I hate it. Turn it off. And I went back into my custom instructions and deleted that dumb line about British humor. And that was like a big improvement. But you are going to misstep. Like you're going to do something big. Like, I want you to always be cheerful. And then having someone who's like, being like rah all the time, you're gonna be like, that's way too much. I don't actually need half my answer to be cheering me on. I got my state. You just tell me what to do. And then you change it. And you're like, I want all my answers really, really concise. I think a lot of people over time end up with concise. You're sort of like, I'll ask you for more when I need more. So it is all going to be something you play with. So model Peter's. People have been asking if we're going to have templates and examples go into Facebook. Yes, everyone always wants to see Peter's instructions and model them because, like I said, they are a fantastic example and they shouldn't be what you use, but you should go through and model that. That's a great starting point. It's going to put you way ahead. You can also, of course, go into ChatGPT and have ChatGPT create it in general, but just know you are going to get some things wrong and just keep tinkering. Go back in there, change things, add things. A big one that he mentioned that I think everyone in the end loves is to say something like, please don't sugarcoat your answers. Remember, ChatGPT loves to be agreeable, and it is not always in your service to have the people around you, the intelligences around you, always telling you that your answers are a good idea. So this idea of please don't sugarcoat everything. It's in my service to know when you have a good idea, like when my idea could be improved. That's a line probably almost everyone should put in. And if you don't see it doing it, figure out how to emphasize, like put the word important in capitals ahead of it. So those are just a couple things. And then I think we're shifting to memory.
100%. The way that I try to explain ChatGPT to people is hands up in the room in Zoom, and I'll see a flurry in Facebook if we can. Hands up if you cannot sing. Like you know you can't sing. Like it's just not your thing, right? Okay, good. I think there's a few people lying and a few people being honest, and that's awesome. But you can't sing. I can't sing. It's not one of my skills. I can like hold a tune, but I cannot sing. If I was saying to Liz, my wife, hi Liz, I miss you. Look forward to seeing you soon. If I said to Liz, hey, I want to go on American's Got Talent, I'm going to sing, I would hope that she says, honey, like you got a lot of skills in this world, you've got some great talents, but you can't sing for shit. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Save yourself the pain. Maybe there's something else you could do on America's Got Talent. Like that would be nice. Like give me a different direction. If I go to ChatGPT right now and say, I can't sing, give me a 5-step strategy to win America's Got Talent, it will answer me. And it will say, you go, Pete. That's amazing. It's great to have ambitions. Like, no, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. I'm not a 12-year-old. Like, that's how I speak to Sam and Olivia. Like, if Sam and Olivia say, I want to do this, you go, yeah, that's great. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. That's how you speak to children. That's not how you speak to adults. With adults, you go, that's a terrible idea. And I love you enough to tell you it's a terrible idea. And I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. ChatGPT won't do that. You have to really, really, really push it to do it. So, as Gretchen said, start with mine, customize it. But as we said earlier this week, and a few of you said this is like one of your core learnings, like don't accept the first answer. Don't accept, this is a very good example of don't accept the first answer. Custom instructions, if Gretchen still had it, she'd be getting a joke about tea and scones or an analogy. She could say, I need to write a run of show for a 3-day event. And it would say, great, let's get a cup of tea first. And you're like, shoot me in the face. Stop talking about cups of tea. Like, that's where you get to. So when you get your custom instructions back, go, that output wasn't what I was expecting. Like one of the things I do if I'm trying to really get this done is I say, you said this, and I wanted you to say this. Like literally tell it exactly what you'd rather it say, word for word. Say, I'd rather you said this. What would I have needed to say What would I have needed to say differently in order for you to give me the outcome that I was looking for? Because humans love words like you should. Like, this is a great example. I see this all the time in our mastermind. People say, you should. You should always be motivational. Should is a softening word that humans use with each other to be polite. What they mean is you must, not you should. You should is variability. Then the AI can decide, and it will, when it doesn't apply that rule. If it's a must, you put must. Now, when Gretchen said about her English humor, she would have said something like, I want you to use. There is no variability in that. So it's another example of, Gretchen, I think Gretchen is probably one of the number 2 experts in the world, because I'm putting myself first. But in that top tier, and even with her, use the wrong language. I do it all the time because humans use words like should, could, would, must, all interchangeably. And they're not interchangeably. They have different meanings in the dictionary, and the AI is going to apply it with the specific meaning. Because if you remember back to day 1, we spoke about the fact that AI doesn't understand context. It doesn't understand that when we say should, we mean you must. Like, we will say to employees, you should arrive on time. We don't mean you should arrive on time. We mean if you don't arrive on time, I'm going to fire your ass. That's what we mean. But humans understand that we don't say that because that's pretty aggressive. What we say is, you should really look at your timekeeping here. Is there anything I can do to help you with your timekeeping? That's what we say. What we're actually saying is, you don't arrive on time, you're out. That's what we're saying. So we got to be very, very careful. So put it in, get the feedback, and go through the exercise of finessing it through. Now, memory. Memory is the other super cool thing. When we started out on this journey, AI didn't have any memory. So we used to use our custom instructions in order to give it some kind of memory. But it's super, super cool. Memory, however, is also quite dangerous because it will decide what it should store in its memory and what it shouldn't. So the first thing I want you to do in this regard is to start adding stuff to your memory. So this is how you add stuff to your memory. So what you do is you say, I am now taking semaglutide, 1 mil, 1.5 mil per week. Please update your memory accordingly. And you'll see this thing that says memory updated. And it will now say Pete is now taking semaglutide 1.5 million. 1.5 million, 1.5 mil. I have released some weight. So I now weigh 295 pounds. Please update your memory. So when we do this, we're going to start adding this. Now, if you hit manage memories, you're going to start seeing a whole bunch of stuff. Now, some of this is real, and some of this is because I spend most of my time training people on AI, that it picks up on the things that I have done and adds it itself. So what I'm doing is I'm doing an audit. So every couple of weeks, I literally go in here, hit audit my memory, and do this. The reason this is important, like Pete isn't currently doing an open house for a 4 million penthouse in Hell's Kitchen. I am. Once you've done this, I'll open up a new chat, say, any advice around health and weight for me today? This advice is now going to change. If I go through and remove, and I don't have time to remove all of them because it's now quite a robust data set. If I remove my points in here, these things are going to start disappearing. It's going to infuse everything. So this is, again, just adding individual context for you. What are your hopes, goals, fears, and frustrations? What are your health issues and concerns? Are you diabetic? Like if you're diabetic, for example, and if you said, I am diabetic, then when you ask for meal plans, it's going to include that in your meal plan. If your kids don't like XYZ food and you ask for a meal for the family, it's going to use that knowledge as it outputs it. If you say that my cash flow, wait, fireworks for my kids and meal plans. Love the randomness of that. If you put in that your cash flow is currently in this situation, or your balance sheet is in this situation, or your P&L is in this situation, or you have no expertise in this subject, but you have real expertise in this. Yes, Melanie. If you say my rent payments are this, and this is my household budget, like these are the things that make us so amazing because we have context. We have such context. I know that Liz is allergic to tomatoes. So if I say, do you want to eat this tonight? I'm never going to include something that includes tomatoes because she's going to go, have you forgotten that I'm allergic to tomatoes? Like, that's not going to work. So my GPT includes that Liz is allergic to tomatoes. So when I say, have you got any ideas what we can eat tonight? It's going to automatically include it. I tell it when I'm traveling. I tell it where I'm traveling. So when I ask it to give me a packing list, it knows. When it gives me a packing list and it gives me stuff that I don't want, I tell it, I don't ever want this in my packing list, and it will add it to my memory. So every single iteration for me, every time I use my AI, it gets better and better and better. It gets quicker and faster to get me to my outcomes. So I am minutes away from getting to a perfect, near perfect outcome. Whereas previously I was an hour away. And I'm still happy with that. And I'm still happy with that for all of you. Because if you're doing in an hour what used to take you a day, that's a pretty cool upgrade. But you can get to a stage where you can do it in 5 minutes, not an hour. And that's just through this constant perfection. Add this to my memory, move this from my memory. I think we are at time, unfortunately.
Yes. I do want you, will you quickly show one more time just where memory is? Because you went really quickly, just the one step of like, everyone just needs to see, this is something you just have to go through and prune. It's a little bit of housekeeping, but you do need to know how to find it.
Yeah, so to add something to your memory, I would literally just type in the fact and say, add this to my memory. I always want a travel umbrella in my packing list. Add this to my memory. So to add something, literally type in the fact and just say, add this to my memory. Simple as that. In order to find it and edit it, you're going to click on the face again. You're going to go to settings, personalization, and you hit manage. So click on the face, click on settings, click on personalization, and click manage. Alternatively, if you have just added something, when this memory updated comes around, you can click manage memories and it'll get you to the same place. Okay. And as we said, and this was a great piece of advice from Gretchen in one of our masterminds, set a 2-week reminder on your calendar or whatever software you use to audit your memory. Because when you look in it, you'll be like, what? Like, when did you pick that up? I had one in there that Pete often works with kids in Thailand. I'm like, I do? Okay, sure. Maybe that's an aspirational thing, but it certainly isn't a current thing. So number one,
except that I think you did it last week. That's where I picked it up.
I did. It was awesome, but I don't often do it, unfortunately. Number one, customize in your instructions. Take the templates we've done and ask it to run you through questions in order to get your custom instructions that are going to work for you. That's number one. Number two, memory, facts, data, snippets. It's not going to work for huge, long things, but it's like, I like this. I don't like this. I weigh this much. I have this health problem. These are my kids. These are their names. These are the things they're like. Add this to my memory. Add this to my memory. Add this to my memory. And then on the flip side, manage the memory, which is settings, personalization, manage memory, and audit that every couple of weeks to make sure you haven't got some crazy stuff in. The more you do this, the richer the output, the quicker the objectives get hit.
Okay, I have 1 minute. So fun work for tonight is you're never going to guess. We want you to set up a set of custom instructions. We want you to check out your memory and do a quick cleaning. So there will be all the information, prompts, templates, examples. We're going to head into Facebook. And in Facebook for your post, actually, what I'd love is a list of the types of things you wanted to include. Peter talked about the ages of his kids, the name of his business, all sorts of elements like that. This is an area where you can say, like, here are some of the types of things I included, because that'll inspire other people to be like, oh, I didn't think of that. Whether it's the way that you want it to communicate, like you've seen some people maybe certainly here in the chat saying like, oh, here's something I included that's been really a game changer for me. Add those in, any insight you have or things that worked. Always know, by the way, that when you change your custom instructions, they don't work until you start a new chat. So like every chat sort of lives inside the custom instructions it started with. So every time you update, you need to go into a new chat if you want to test it. So if you think things aren't working, make sure you've opened a new chat. And this is a reminder for anyone who came in, or a reminder for everyone who's here, and news for anyone who came a little bit late. Our VIPs are today invited to the mastermind, take part in our flagship product, and come and check out what we do every week, rain or shine, no matter what. So that actually starts in 9 minutes, which is why we have to end this call a little bit early. The link has been emailed to you. I think it's in the chat right now. So we look forward to seeing everyone who's here in our VIP room in the mastermind in a couple minutes.
Yeah, this is probably the least fun work of all the fun works that we've given you, but this is the most impactful one of the fun works you're going to get. This is going to be the thing that drives efficiency and joy in the interaction with your AI. Honestly, it becomes joyful when you're like, oh wow, yeah, cool. This is amazing. So please do it. Tomorrow, for our final day, we're going to be giving you one of the most advanced skills that exist right now, which is how to wrap things into something called custom GPTs and how to use custom GPTs. This is where you can take complex processes and things you want to rerun regularly, like creating a to-do list or doing a P&L or anything, literally anything and everything. Instead of having to retype it every time, you can do it instantly and you can use that. So we're going to be teaching you that. And again, it's going to be in a really impactful way. So please be with us tomorrow for our final day. I just want to, I know I'm running a bit over, but I just want to, again, just congratulate everybody for being here. Like, started with 75 people in the Facebook, there's 55 people there, there's 52 people here, which means we're over 100 people and you have stayed here till day 4. So we are so grateful for the trust you show in us and the commitment you show to yourself. It really is meaningful. So thank you so much for being here. You are amazing people. I want to meet Lauren's dog. That is so cool. So you are amazing people. I love you all. Thank you for being here today. Finish day 5, finish strong. We're going to do something really impactful and meaningful for you tomorrow. And with that, I think let's play some music. And for the VIPs, we will see you on the mastermind in about 7 minutes time.
Dressed up in silk and lace, I got all the dreams to bring you away, baby. Soft whispers in the night, I've got a love for you that's burning bright, baby. Sparkling eyes and tender touch, I've got a feeling that tonight's ours, baby. Sparkling eyes and tender touch, I've got a feeling that tonight is ours, baby. Feel the rhythm. Feel the beat, echoes of our hearts beat, reaching for that moment sweet, with love and passion beat. Golden lights and scented air, love stories written in the sandstone now, baby. So please, and moving close, our love is written in the sandstone now, baby. Wrapped in warm.
Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow.